It's 4:45 a.m. in Hanoi. In the West, this is the quiet hour, reserved for grind-set influencers and the ultra-disciplined 1%. But in Vietnam, the 5 a.m. club isn't an elite group. It's the national heartbeat. Arrive at dawn and you'll think you've missed a revolution. Parks are at capacity, aerobics are in full swing, and the traffic is already pulsing. This isn't hustle culture. It's a brutally logical response to the environment. A shared rhythm that shifts the entire day earlier to steal a window of comfort before the sun takes over. This is the dawn economy, a survival strategy that makes the Western 9-to-5 look completely out of sync, and it dictates everything from the food you eat to how this nation's billions are made. I'm John, a Vietnamese American living here full-time. And I'll be honest, I am not a morning person. When I first moved back, I'd wake up at 8:30 a.m. feeling like I was starting my day, only to realize the rest of the country had already finished half of theirs. I felt like I was living in a completely different time zone than my own neighbors. But then I experienced my first June in the country. If you're in Hanoi in January, it's actually chilly. But for most of the year, and especially during the brutal summers that bake the entire country, the sun is the enemy. By 9 a.m., the temperature hits 33 degrees Celsius. That's about 91 Fahrenheit. But then it accelerates. By 11 a.m., it's 38 degrees. By noon, the heat index can feel like 45. In the West, we think of the day as starting when the sun comes up. In Vietnam, the sun is the deadline. The moment the sun hits the pavement, the clock starts ticking on your productivity. You have a narrow morning window, roughly from 5 a.m. to mid-morning, when the heat is still manageable. If you don't get your exercise, your grocery shopping, and your social interaction done in those 4 hours, you aren't getting them done at all. It's not that they like waking up early. It's that they've realized fighting the sun is a losing battle. But here's where it gets interesting. Because when an entire nation agrees to beat the sun, the economy has to pivot to meet them. Because everyone is awake at 5:30 a.m., the morning markets are at their peak before the sun is even fully up. This is a high-velocity economic shift. The street food vendors have to be set up by 4:30 a.m. because their rush hour isn't 8 a.m., it's 6 a.m. By starting early, the country stretches its usable daylight into 2 cooler blocks. While a worker in London or New York is just hitting their first snooze button, a Vietnamese worker has already finished a workout, eaten a nutrient-dense breakfast, and completed their shopping. They aren't working more hours, they're working smarter hours. They're front-loading their energy expenditure before the heat turns the city into a literal oven. But if you start at 5 a.m., how do you survive until 10 p.m.? The answer is the siesta system. If you walk into a Vietnamese office or shop at 12:30 p.m., the lights are off. Everyone, from the security guard to the CEO, is asleep. They use mats on the floor, reclining chairs, or even the seats of their motorbikes. In the West, napping at work is seen as lazy. In Vietnam, it's a biological requirement. This is biphasic sleep. By breaking the day into 2 parts, they avoid the thermal peak, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., where productivity naturally drops due to heat-induced fatigue. In America, napping at your desk gets you a meeting with HR. In Vietnam, if you're not napping at 12:30 p.m., people assume something is wrong with you. This is an energy management pattern shaped by heat and habit. You spend energy when it's cool, you recharge when it's hot, and you emerge again for the second day when the sun goes down. But there's something even deeper driving this rhythm, something that goes back thousands of years. There's a deeper historical reason for this early start: the rice paddy logic. Vietnam was an agrarian society for thousands of years. In rice farming, You have to be in the fields before dawn to finish the hardest labor before the midday sun makes work impossible. The farmers who didn't follow this rhythm didn't survive. As Vietnam urbanized at a record-breaking pace, people moved into the cities, but they brought the village clock with them. Even in a high-tech hub like District 1 in Saigon, the city still breathes like a farm. This shared rhythm creates a massive amount of social cohesion. When 100 million people all agree on the same schedule, the city functions like a single organism. The morning rush isn't a stressful anomaly. It's the heartbeat of the culture. Living in this rhythm requires a level of planning that most Westerners aren't used to. You have to track the weather, the humidity, and the social density of the streets. While not everyone is a farmer today, the village clock remains the operating system of the country. Whether you're a tech lead in Saigon or a vendor in Da Nang, you're still running on a schedule designed to beat the equatorial sun. Just like a street food vendor knows exactly when the morning market peaks to get the freshest ingredients, I need to know when the market is moving before the midday heat of the news cycle hits. That's why I use Seeking Alpha. Just like the Vietnamese use the 5 a.m. window to get the best produce at the market, I use Seeking Alpha to get the best quant ratings and dividend analysis before the rest of the stock market catches on. There's an exclusive discount for them in the description if you want to optimize your investing and financial rhythm. But here's the strangest part about this dawn economy. The early start doesn't just help them beat the heat. It creates something that defies everything we think we know about urban planning. So why do they wake up so early? Because the Vietnamese have realized that time isn't a fixed 9-to-5 box. Time is a resource dictated by the environment. By shifting the day earlier, they've learned how to live around the climate. They've turned the miserable heat into a scheduled nap time, and the lonely dawn into a vibrant community festival. The country starts early, but here's the strange part. Because of that midday reset, it never actually stops. The energy from the 5 a.m. aerobics carries all the way through to the midnight street food stalls. In hyper-urbanized hubs like Saigon and Hanoi, it's a 24-hour cycle of organized chaos. The same 5 meters of sidewalk might run 3 different shifts: a morning market at dawn, lunch vendors at noon, and plastic stool bia drinks at night. The street is efficient because the space is shared. But if the street is where everyone lives, eats, and exercises, where do they actually go for privacy? If these cities are 24-hour organisms that never sleep, how do people create personal space in 2 of the most densely packed urban environments on Earth? In the next video, we're looking at why Vietnamese streets never sleep, and the ingenious way they've engineered efficiency into every square meter of public space. We're diving into the shift system that turns a single sidewalk into 3 different businesses throughout the day. Subscribe and hit the bell, because what you're about to discover will change how you think about urban efficiency. I'll see you on the street.